the one who returned. The villagers of Lark Hollow had long stopped speaking his name. Fallon had disappeared 20 years ago, a boy of 19, lost on a dare to spend the night alone in Timber Deep. When the search parties came back empty, his mother wept herself to sickness, and the woods grew darker for her grief. Eventually, a new generation came, and his memory faded like fog at dawn, until he returned. He walked into the village on a pale autumn morning, barefoot, cloaked in rags of gray and green, his face unchanged, eyes still amber, skin still young, but his hair hung like vines and moss bloomed along his shoulders. He said nothing. He stood at the edge of the well, blinking slowly, as if trying to remember what air felt like. Children ran to fetch the elder. "It's not him," she said softly. The boy was full of noise. This one, he listens too well. When they pressed him with questions, he spoke in riddles, not of where he had gone, but of what had found him. "The trees do not sleep," he whispered. "They only wait." They tried to bathe him, dress him, feed him bread and broth. He accepted all with calm detachment, as if performing rituals remembered from a life had forgotten. But at night, the moss on his back shimmered in the moonlight, and sometimes in the quiet, he whispered names that no one had taught him, names of villagers long dead, of hidden springs no map had drawn. "The forest remembers," he says, "even when we forget ourselves." Then the dreams began. People in Lark Hollow started walking with leaves in their hair, mud under their nails, and the echo of strange lullabies on their tongues. Some found old bones in their gardens, others carvings of vines on their doors, intricate and moving. They grew fearful. The priest tried to exorcise Fallon, but the incense turned to ash in his hand. The villagers met, and in hushed fear they agreed he must go back. But when they came for him, he was already gone. All that remained was a patch of moss where he had slept and a carving etched into the old well stone. I am not the only one who listened. Mosslight. They say the sun left Fern Hollow for 7 nights. It rose behind the hills, but never reached the village. Shadows clung to windows like cobwebs. Candles flickered blue. The livestock refused to eat, and every morning the woods had crept closer. An inch, a root, a breath. At first, the villagers blamed the weather, the gods, or the miners stirring things below the ridge. But Mira, the weaver's daughter, knew otherwise. She had seen it before. Years ago, when she was only 6, Mira had wandered into Timber Deep after a white fox. The village had searched for her for 3 days, but when they found her curled in a bed of moss, she was unharmed and holding hands with a child no one else could see. A boy with bark for skin and lichen in his hair. They called it fever. They said she imagined it, but she remembered the boy's name, Tarn. And now As the days grew dimmer and the sky turned to pewter, Mira began to dream of Tarn again. "The forest is hurting," he said. "They dug too deep. They cracked the bone of stone." "What do I do?" she asked. "Come back." The elders forbade her, of course, but Mira was stubborn. She waited until nightfall, slipped into the dark under the hush of moss-draped trees, and walked until the forest no longer felt like the world she knew. She found the glade she once had slept in, and he was there. Tarn looked older, taller. The bark on his arms had split into ridges, and glowing mushrooms circled his ankles, but his eyes still held her name like a gentle song. "The miners woke something," he said. "An old root. It pulls in the light when it's afraid." "Can it be calmed?" she asked. "Only if someone listens." So she did. Mira knelt in the center of the moss-light glade and pressed her hand to the earth. She closed her eyes, slowed her breath, and let the forest speak. She felt everything. The pain of the split stone opened by greed, the fear of fungi drowned in iron, the sorrow of the grove where no bird would sing, and beneath it all, the ache of memory. The forest remembering a time when humans prayed with open hands, not axes. Mira whispered, no words, but feeling, apology, reverence, a lullaby she barely remembered her mother singing. The light changed. A beam of sunlight pierced the canopy, then another. The moss shimmered. Tarn smiled. "You've reminded them," he said, "that not all humans forget how to listen." Mira returned to Fern Hollow as dawn broke. The sun touched the rooftops. The shadows fled. No one asked where she had gone, but from that day forward, she was never seen without a small green sprout growing from her wrist, soft, pulsing faintly with light, and the forest never came closer again.